purpose of the Writing Prompt Builder is to provide templates for content area teachers so that they can go in and confidently select writing prompts that they can use to drive reading, or they can use them to set up performance tasks that are Common Core aligned. So we're going to go ahead and go over to our Common Core section. When we click on Common Core, you're going to see a navigation on the bottom, Common Core Tools. When you click on Common Core Tools, you'll be taken to a couple of our Common Core tools that help with, of course, Common Core. We have our Writing Prompt Builder, we have our Text Complexity Meter, and then we have our Nonfiction Source Reference. All of these things will be valuable for your teachers. But right now we're going to look at the Writing Prompt Builder. So I'm going to click on the Writing Prompt Builder. Scroll down a little bit down the page so I can see where the templates will be. And our online coach, Natalie, she's going to ask you some preliminary questions. So she says, well, are you elementary or middle high? So I'm going to click middle high. Now all of the prompts that we have written for middle high are being loaded in the background. Then she asks, are you working with nonfiction or are you working with fiction? So I'm going to work with fiction, let's say. I'm a science teacher, history teacher. The majority of us on campus are working with nonfiction. So I click on nonfiction. And then I'm going to ask, are you interested in a reading standard, a speaking standard, or a writing standard? And I say, well, I want to teach a reading standard. And then all of the reading standards, the Common Core reading standards, are listed here. If you want to see the speaking standards, you click on speaking, and these switch over to speaking. The SL is speaking and listening. So let's take a look at some of these. So if I click on reading, I can select, now R1, there's going to be a lot of prompts because R1 is about citing sources and reading a text, pulling evidence from that text. There's a lot we could ask. So when I click on R1, you're going to see all of these prompts. These are all templates that you can use. If I want to summarize a solution in a text or summarize a problem, I click on this and a prompt template comes in. And this is designed to help my students write about a problem in a text. Or maybe it's a cause and effect. This is going to help me ask my students to pull source material out of a text, specifically cause and effect relationships. Watch the difference when I click on R3. There's going to be far fewer prompts. I have to click off R1 to remove the R1 prompts. And now I'm just looking at R3. So these are the R3 prompts. Now R3, the focus of R3 is to follow a relationship of ideas across a text. So that's why you see a process, you see solutions, you see cause and effect. So these are relationships that span across the text. That's what R3 asks you to do. If I click on problem, cause, and effect, this will set up my template to ask the question that specifically focuses on problem and a cause and effect in a text. If I click on multiple cubes, it will add all of those standard prompts. So if I click on R4, now look what R4 says. It says Common Core Standard R4 asks students to determine meaning of general academic words while reading in the content areas. This is a process that should happen whenever students are reading a text. Therefore, we do not have a template that specifically asks students to understand the words they are reading. Does that make sense? So I pull off R4 because it's not a template that I can use. But what about R5? Now I'm looking at R5 and R3. These are the prompt templates for R5 and R3. So let's go back. I'm looking at middle high, nonfiction, reading for R3 and R5. And these are templates that you can use. So discuss the main ideas. And remember, with our prompts, you can add the information that you need. So this would be the author's name, right? Of course, would be an actual name in this case, but the author's name. Or if there's a word you do not like or you think is too high level, describe may not be a word that you want. I want my students to maybe explain. You can change the verbs in the prompt to fit the needs of your students. Do you see the add-on down here? So the add-on does exactly what it says. It's going to add it on to the bottom of the prompt. Watch what happens. See that? So we have linked add-ons to specific prompts that go with these prompts. So they are standard specific. This one's going to be on all of them. So if you want your kids, your students, to demonstrate command of the conventions of standard English grammar and usage when writing or speaking, then you add that on. If you add it on and you don't want it anymore, you just wipe it out by selecting and backspacing and it goes away. Everything that you're doing in the prompt ends up down here. When it's all done, you copy and you paste it into your PowerPoint, or you paste it into a document, or you paste it into the planner. The planner also has a prompt builder just like this, so you could do this work in the planner as well. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck 5, and I'm going to uncheck 3, and I shouldn't see any prompts. No templates. R7. Look at what do you think R7 is about based on the titles? Comparing two documents, comparing people, comparing ideas, more than one source or more than one idea in a text. So compare and contrast, so that's what R7 is about. History teachers, compare and contrast primary, secondary sources. History teachers discuss people, places, and things. Now, why did this switch to discuss, do you think? Look at all these. They say compare, compare, research, and then discuss. This is directly related to a discussion with students. So, with a partner, discuss how. Now you say, I would like it not to be with a partner. I want it with a small group. Then you say, in your small group, discuss. And now you have it. If you find a prompt like this, because you could just use it the way it is, right. Analyze 2 seminal U.S. documents, you can either get them to go do that, or you can put them in by just saying analyze, and then you put your source. See, this could be the Declaration of Independence, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Notice that when I want to make a change, I click on another template. Natalie asks me, are you sure you want to continue? Anytime I make a change to a template and I go another direction, she luckily warns me that my work is about to be erased. If you don't want to erase the work, you press no and you copy what you want to keep. Then you can move to another template and say yes, and she erases it. Notice that the research prompts are pretty heavy here, right? Where are we at? R9, research. Let's take a look at elementary. Elementary nonfiction, R9. Let's look at research. Look how different it is. Research and idea. See how much less language, much more accessible. And you might want to start here, or you might want to take a hybrid of both the middle high and the elementary. So research, and I'd put whatever that is. Read, this could be a number, 2 sources, 3 sources, on the subject. Your research should answer questions like who, what, where, when, why, and how. So this is a research for nonfiction elementary. If you want kids to get involved in discussion, you say, I want my students speaking more in my classroom. I want to go to speaking, and now I can look at SL1. Do you see that they all say discuss, or mostly say discuss? Instead of having my students write an essay about characters, I want them to talk about characters. So I press discuss, and it says in a group of 4. Talk about how, and whatever you want to say here. How are these 2 people, places, things, or ideas similar? And of course you wouldn't leave all that there. You would say, how are these 2 ideas similar? And then those ideas, of course, would be here, listed there, here. So it's the language that they need. It's the direction for the Common Core performance tasks, but it's customizable for you. You don't have to do our content. It's your content, but we're giving you the Common Core stepping stones and bridges to the types of academic work that they're expecting us to do. What do I do to see all the templates? How do I see all of them for reading fiction? Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click all the cubes. Now some of them will not add because they're extra. They do the same thing. So I'm going to continue to click. If you wanted to see every single standard or template for reading, you would make them all red. And then as I want to reduce, I start pulling them off. And you can start seeing them disappear as I pull them off. In this tool, there's approximately 120 templates. But if we put them all in a list all at once, it would be very difficult for you to sift through. So what we have done is link them to standards that you can search for. I am a middle school teacher. I'm working with nonfiction, and I want my students to address a speaking standard. And now I can look at some speaking standards. Now there's overlap. Some of the speaking standards will include some reading standards and will include some writing standards. But if you want to target specifically a standard, you come in here and you say, here's my grade level, here is the source type, fiction or nonfiction, and I want to do SL4. It says discuss one thing to change. Identify a problem in the world today that needs attention. I can change that, or I can leave it. Or I can put a blank if a blank makes sense, or I can put my own information in. Clearly state your point of view and use specific examples to show the depth of the problem. Now, do you see down here the add-ons? I'm going to go back to the add-ons again. Do you see these? What is this one? Make eye contact. Why would that one be part of SL? And it really is about making eye contact. So I click on eye contact and it says use appropriate eye contact, adequate volume, and clear pronunciation. It's specific to SL. Let's go investigate what other SLs might be here. SL3, SL5, there's one. Integrate data. Why is SL1 showing me Common Core Standards SL1, SL6 focus on using formal English during a range of collaborative discussions? Although our prompts can engage students in various discussions, this work tends to happen as part of any reading, speaking, or writing task. And then we have a link. Please visit our speaking and listening section to find speaking and listening activities that can be used to teach these standards. So they're collaborative standards. SL1 and SL6 are collaborative standards. Well, if the task by nature is having them collaborate, you don't need templates for SL1, SL6. Just know that they're happening as part of doing our SL templates. As you move around, do you notice that speaking is clicked SL1? If I go over to reading, there's nothing clicked, but yet there's still templates. Do you see that? So I have to go into speaking and clear out speaking. Do you see? So we could get a little confused there. If I have a bunch of standards clicked in a bunch of different areas, they're not going to go away until I unclick them. So now if I want to look at just reading and just nonfiction, and now look at my add-ons, use complete sentences, and then use standard English, and I want to look at more add-ons, I'm going to go ahead and just load up my templates here just to show you. So here's some add-ons. Who is the intended audience? Research visual text. So a lot of templates here to choose from. There's a lot of templates here to choose from. But what we love about this is that it's all Common Core aligned, and you can differentiate it because you're allowed to go in and manipulate the actual template itself. So this is our new writing prompt builder, and how we've organized the Common Core standards. So we're really excited about that.